What is going on, YouTube? Sci Guy 29 coming at you for a national recap. Was lucky enough to get to venture out to Rosemont for the show. Spent 3 days there with a couple of friends of mine from here in Jefferson and had an absolute blast. I'm just going to kind of go through day by day, kind of how things went and what all happened. But yeah, all in all, couldn't have asked for much more. Well, yeah, I could have, but we'll get to that as we go through. So Wednesday, we went out Wednesday morning. The only other time I've been to the National was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was 2 years ago in Rosemont, and very different experiences this time. Just the sheer number of people. Wednesday night, we got there. We were there for the whole. We had general admission tickets, so we were in for the entire 4 hours we were available, and it felt like a Friday. It felt like the Friday 2 years ago, but not to the point where it hampered what I was doing. I know a lot of people, I can't see any tables. Well, patience. Take your turn. You'll get there. Yes, it was crowded. So we left town. It's about between 7 and 8 hours to get to Chicago from where I live. And we took off about 7 o'clock in the morning. Was a little worried because Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we got between 4 and 5 inches of rain. My son had water in his basement. Luckily, we did not. Tom, some of you guys met my friends, Kevin and Tom, briefly at the YouTube get-together before we got kicked out. We'll get to that later. But we took off, and Tom was getting, and Tom's a show promoter and dealer, and he was worried because a lot of his stuff's in his basement, and was getting water seeping in a corner or two of his basement. His wife said, nope, go, get out of here. So we got out. Luckily, it all worked out for them and everyone else that was not, at least people I was personally associated with, not too bad. Didn't drive in rain until we got, about an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of Chicago. And then we caught up to the rain. Went to check in, room wasn't ready. So we just had them hold our bags and we headed off. Got to the show, and it was really slick that, go upstairs, get your wristband, go back down, go in. Great. That was great. Instead of going into the main hall, I turned and went over kind of, I didn't stay up because I just didn't like the look of the new tables. It just looked crowded. The place was packed, and that's just not what I wanted. I thought I'd get back up there. I never did go up there just because it was Eddie from Eddie's Cardboard Chaos. Says, I've got one piece of advice for you. I was talking to him early on Thursday morning. He's like, hey, do not go upstairs. Just avoid it. So I did. I need to listen to Eddie. So anyway, went in and was just what I was looking for going in were pre-war players from Iowa, T206s, 205s, Hassan triple folders, chocolates, caramels, those kind of things. That's kind of what I was big on my radar. Excuse me, wanted to add at least 3 Hall of Fame autographs. Got that accomplished. 3 that I didn't have. And one of those is this, Ron Santo on the Sweet Spot Classic signatures. You can see it's 41 out of 75. Here's the back. Did not have a Santo, so picked that up, and $20. I got that for $20. So I thought that was a pretty good deal, so I just went ahead and got it. It was literally the first table I truly stopped and just looked at. Walking around then, ran into Eric, those back pages. Got to chat with him very briefly, but was nice to meet him, introduce myself, and get to talk to the man, the myth, and the legend. So that was fun. Next, I came across, it was probably 6 o'clock on Wednesday night. It was in what used to be the Breakers Pavilion, kind of up that little ramp from the main floor. And there was a booth that staffed by, I say young guys, but lots of people there were young compared to me. They were probably in their 20s, early 30s. And they had some decent vintage stuff, but what I liked is they had stuff that I wanted. And they had not one, not two, but three Fred Clark T205s. So I ended up with this beauty. Now it's a 1, and yes, it's got some staining and some chipping. But it's what I was looking for. There's the back, Piedmont back. So my first Hall of Fame T205, Iowan. T205s, I believe there's just 3 guys that I'm really looking for there. That was one of them, so check. Only other thing I bought on Wednesday was there was a guy, and originally what caught my eye was he had several Eddie Matthews and Warren Spahn autographs. Now I've got Spahn, do not have a Matthews, but I couldn't get him to budge. They were on playing days cards, and that was just a little more than I was looking to part with, especially early in the show. But as I was going through, he had these boxes. There's like 5 boxes. He had one box that was literally nothing but Pete Rose autograph. It was crazy. Bunch of SSPC cards and stuff like that. Not wanting that, but I did find this. Did not have a Pedro. So I was very excited to find the Pedro. And right behind the Pedro was this Trevor Hoffman. So I said, okay, let's do the old bundle Rooski. Starting to sound like a cheesy commercial with Patrick Mahomes in it. But ended up making a deal. $90 for the pair. Didn't think that was too bad. I hadn't found... Pedro is one of those guys that I could never find at a price that's worth a crud. So $90, 2 Hall of Famers. Didn't think it was all bad. I think it was 90. It was either 80 or 90. I didn't write it down. I need to get going because this video is taking way too long. Anyway, that was the extent of Friday. Saturday, or Friday, Jesus, Wednesday. When I haven't even been drinking it before I'm going to work. But I wanted to get this out before I forgot too much stuff. So Thursday, I was looking forward to knowing I was going to get to go to the YouTube get-together. Did not get to do that 2 years ago because we got there after it happened. So I was really excited, but full day on the floor. We got there. Traffic was crazy. I'm going to give you a tip. If you do park in the parking garage by the hotels, or you're staying in one of those, or you're walking to the show from another hotel, go to the skywalk. Go across, come back down. You come right by the escalator in the main lobby, and it works out great. The only thing I didn't like is they switched up where you got your wristband for general admission. It was upstairs on Wednesday, downstairs in the line Thursday, Friday. But we figured it out. Got into the show, got going, started looking around, had a lot of fun. And I just realized I have one more card that I don't have. Be right back. Make that 2 more cards. Anyway, switch these around in order. And got on the floor, got going, and shortly after getting on, found this beauty for my Iowa-born T206 players. This means I have half of them now. This is the Viva Lindemann in a 2. Sweet cap back. Probably the nicest back of any of them that I have. Top's a little thin there. You can see. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can't. There we go. Plastic on there is giving a little glare. So I was excited to get that. Very, very fair deal for it too. It's the highest graded card I have from that set. And then I did mention earlier that I was looking for to add a Hassan triple folder. Mike baseball collector kind of got me thinking that way. So I did some research on the way out. What's available? What are the prices? And lo and behold, we came up with this. This is the Clark Hikes for Home. It's Fred Clark in the middle, rounding third, headed for home. And on the outside, we have Johnny Kling and Albert Bridwell. So pick that in that. You can see that it has like pinholes up in the corners. There you go. You can see them. But what that did is it made it affordable. So I went ahead and picked that up. Very excited. And then went to a table and found a card I'd been looking for. Another Sweet Spot Signatures. This one of my man, Joe Mauer. And actually ended up buying this card from a guy that lives about 50 minutes from where I live. From a town called Manson, Iowa. And they were in the back of the main hall. And great to deal with. A lot of fun to talk to. And now I've got another connection here in the state. And then maybe my favorite pickup of the show. And a couple of guys saw this at the get-together before we got booted. Or on the floor, I showed a couple people I know. And that is this Topps Tribute. And I cannot remember the year. I should have looked that up first, but I didn't. But is this booklet card of Roy Campanella with the jersey, Pee Wee Reese with the bat, the oversized relics. And this is numbered, it's out of 25. 21 out of 25. There you can kind of see it on the back. But incredibly excited to find that. That will look very good as the centerpiece of my Hall of Fame collection. And that brings us to Thursday night. YouTube get-together. As I was saying, I was with a couple friends from town that do. Come to find out, the one guy does watch YouTube videos. Didn't know that. But went to the gathering. Was very lucky. Got to meet earlier in the day. Ran into, as I said, Eddie's Cardboard Chaos, and Scott, Reindeer Studios, on the floor. And was hoping to talk to them more. I did talk to them briefly. I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes on the show floor. But went to the get-together and was just really starting to make the rounds. Talked to Picker Jim S. Who else did I see? Scotty Tradition. And then, for the life of me, if you're watching this video, you're Mike's friend. You're the Baylor fan. I wrote down your name and then lost the sheet of paper I wrote it down on. So please comment on the video. Love to connect with you again. Shared a beer with him before we got booted out of the Embassy Suites. There was a lot of other guys there that I was hoping to talk to or introduce myself to. John Mangini, Iconic Al. So many guys that I wanted to go meet in person. Did not get the chance. The other person I did meet and actually bought a card from, it's over there because it's a basketball card. I bought a 78, 79 Dr. J from none other than James, Elite Hunter. So thanks for that. Yeah, I also bought a autographed Earl Campbell goal line art card from my brother from James. Gave me a great deal. Thank you very much. I got the YouTube discount. That was a great deal. So, bummer on that. We decided just to bail because we didn't know. The guys I were with were definitely tired of walking around. They were looking forward to just hanging out and sitting. Didn't work out. Hopefully next year I can go back and make the full time when we get something permanent set up. So, went back to the hotel. Giordano's Pizza. Can't go wrong with that. And got up Friday morning, last day at the show. We were planning Kevin, one of the guys I was with. Big autograph guy, was getting Dr. J and Carlton Fisk on Friday. So as soon as he was done, we were out, heading back to Iowa. But did pick up 3 more. The big one on Friday was my significant signature Stan Musial. That's my 3rd one I didn't have. So there's my Stan. And love the fact he signed it on the front. Those are numbered out of 2000. And I've got 5 or 6 others from that set that I really like. Picked this up in a $5 box. This is the Dick Williams Auto. Nice thin pen there. Really, for $5, I couldn't pass that up. And then from SP Legendary Sigs, I believe is what this is. We got this Al Kaline back card. I just like the gold etching around it. Just thinks it looks nice. And I've got a few more things that I'll try to pull out maybe in a crafts and cards if I can get it done here this week. So thank you to all those that I got to meet and you took the time to talk to me and share your knowledge and passion with me. It was great meeting you guys. Had a blast. If you've never been to the National, yes, it's getting huge. Yes, I still recommend that you go. So till next time, remember, like I always say, collect what you love what you collect. See you later.